Hello, world, and welcome to another no-brainer. What am I? My brain is no-braining today. I'm your host. It's Big Daddy, the GOAT. Welcome to the nobrainershow.com. Tonight, we have a fantastic guest. Normally, I have my illustrious co-host, but he's decided to play hooky tonight. He's working or doing something. I don't know what he's doing. We all know Derek. We don't know what he's doing. That's what I just say every time. So we don't know what's going on. But we have a great guest tonight. We're going to dive deep into some cool stuff. I think this is going to be a fun show. Jump in, ask questions afterwards, and I'll make sure they get forwarded to her. So tonight we have Ariel Zeigler.
Ariel.
I know.
Now you're doing it just a mess.
I did because I haven't listened. The last 2 weeks we've had really tough name guests, and I haven't messed up any of them. But all the other ones I mess up, and tonight I did that on purpose. I haven't messed up in a while.
Yeah,
I had to prove a point. I can still screw up. So, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from, girl?
Born and raised in Costa Mesa, California. I lived there till I was 11, 12. Then we moved to Canyon Country, Santa Clarita area. I moved out when I was 17, and I've been there ever since. I just bought a property up in Plummer, Idaho, back in May or June. Yeah, 9.5 acres, and I'm starting to build my homestead. So living between, and then I travel a lot for work with clients. And then I'm also with, I call her my adoptive mom right now in Hawaii. So.
Oh man, you're like a globetrotter. Look at you. Idaho. So what is in? Tell me, what is it? What is in Idaho?
Freedom.
Okay, I get it.
After the LA fires, so I was introduced to Idaho by my ex-boyfriend, Coeur d'Alene specifically. Fell in love, right? However, it was a very pricey area. And the time that we were dating, I was still working for Gold's Gym, Southern California. And we'll get into this organically as the show unfolds, but like 8 years of me basically living 14, 16-hour days and going absolutely nowhere.
Yes.
As soon as I made my business in 2020, I was like, I'm going to be traveling internationally at least twice a year. I'm going to be traveling across the states. And I knew I wanted to build a homestead. I wanted to have that freedom and that accessibility just in case shit hits the fan, especially with the global climate the way it is right now. So back when the fires happened, I was like looking in that area, and we were looking at a whole bunch of different areas, and my real estate person forwarded me to someone in Idaho, and they're like, hey, we have this 9.5 acre property. It needs work, but it's got solar on it. It's off grid. Like I was like, sign me up. So I went out, checked it out, negotiated $13,000 down because I had saved up enough cash to pay cash, and
bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
I actually looked at Idaho. It just came up. I don't even remember why. And I was looking at Boise and stuff, and I was like, ooh, it's just as expensive as here. I'm like, that's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to leave Florida. This will be a home base for us. We want to get an RV and just travel and forever, wherever I may roam, that's where my head will lay. And we've got property up in North Carolina with some friends, and we just want to go hang out and, see the country. I did that. So, and I've told this story before, but the summer of 82 and 84, my parents were school teachers, and we went cross country. I've been to all states except for Alaska and Hawaii. I want to go to Alaska.
Hawaii.
I want to go to Alaska. Hawaii, maybe. I don't know. So my mom went to Hawaii, and she came back, and she's like, it's just like Jersey and Florida. It's very tropical and very expensive. I was like, well, I live in Florida and I grew up in Jersey, so I can
missing all the green and the foliage and the creatures and the culture, and yeah.
I mean, it'd be really cool. It'd be cool. But Alaska is definitely high on my bucket list.
It's beautiful. It's cold. Yeah. If you're not bad with cold, it's beautiful. So
my parents went there for the summer of 92. I was then now, a little older, and I was working, and, so I couldn't go. And my dad said he would have not come home had it not gotten cold, because he's like, it was just too cold for me.
It's freezing.
Yeah. So he spent the whole entire summer on a bank of a stream fishing, just My mom said she had enough salmon to last her the rest of her life.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's all they ate. But yeah, that's what we want to do. I mean, that sounds like the life I would personally. I love our house is we have a nice house, and I've got a really nice we built an oasis in my backyard. And my wife jokes, she's from Iowa, and she's like, build it and they will come. And we always have friends over, and and we just love to hang out there. But I would like to buy 10, 12, 15 acres or something and build a little, I don't like using the word compound, then I sound like a cult leader. But a community where everybody,
That's kind of small. Like I did a 10 acres. I'm going to be having like retreats and stuff there with my business.
Sure.
But like I was on how many acres was it? I think it was like 500 acres, and it was it was amazing, right? There was speakers, there was yoga, there were sound baths, there was food, the kids were harvesting, the kids were learning how to do archery, like it was, and there were 700 people, and everyone worked cohesively together. And this was in Bandera, Texas, for 6 days at a thing called Confluence. It was absolutely amazing. And everybody was like of the same mindset, and like you said, just like a community working cohesively together, almost like a decentralized community. Which personally, I don't know. We'll be here a long time if we go off on that tangent. But you get
dig it. I mean, back in the 70s, it was the hippies that did that, and everybody's like, oh. And now I'm like, I must be a hippie because that's what I want to do. I want to just go live with my homies and just get
live
away
life.
from everything else and just grow and barter between ourselves. And hey, I need the shed fixed. Cool. I need a bushel of tomatoes. Excellent. I got it. Let's do it. Whatever.
Work. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and of course my wife, she says she wants animals, but I'm like, and who's going to take care of these animals? And she's like, probably me. No, she's really good with them. But I mean, she wants to get some cows and some goats and, and stuff like that.
Cows are a lot of work. Yeah. I'm going to be getting goats, chickens, because there's chicken coops. Actually, I have
I do want chickens for sure.
And they're comparatively low maintenance, and you get a lot out of it. So chickens, couple goats to maintain the property, the gardening and the shrubs, and then 2 horses. That's probably what I'm going to do.
Well, we eat a lot of eggs. My dogs get an egg on every meal. So yeah. Oh yeah. And they're supposed to feed them the shell, but they don't. I tried once and they rejected it. And it's really funny how strange they are. One of them loves blueberries and the other one won't. He'll eat around all the blueberries and leave them in the bowl. It's the weirdest thing.
Animals are just as fickle and interesting as people.
Yep. And then that one likes broccoli and the other one doesn't. I mean, or no, he likes carrots. Sorry. I think it's the crunchiness of the carrots, but he'll eat carrots. The other one won't. And it's just, cool. It's like having a kid, they're each got their own personality. But we would love plenty of, I mean, shoot, right now for me, the ideal place would be about 25 to 50 acres and have maybe 5 to 10 of my friends living out there with their families. And we just live together and do our thing. And we're all getting to the age, me and my friends are all getting to the age. Some of them are even retired already, where we can probably, do that and retire and have a little side gig going on. I obviously was never going to leave the podcasting world, do a lot more voice work. And I think it's just going to be, that's our dream. The dream is the big RV too. Cause we just want to go, listen, the world is amazing. I'd love to explore it, but with everything going on right now, I think I'll just stay right here right now.
I have no problem going to prison or being chased or any of that. Like I've died 8 times and come back. So
we got a whole show to talk about stuff like that. So you grew up in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I almost moved to California in 1988. I went out to visit a friend to go see her graduate from high school. Her parents loved me. I mean, it wasn't boyfriend and girlfriend. It was we were just friends. And I went out there and I fell in love. She lived outside of San Luis Obispo.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And I just fell in love with it. But then I got homesick because I was still only 18 or 19 years old, whatever. And even then we went and looked at places to live. And her friend's parents had a pool house, which was a 1-bedroom, bathroom, kitchenette, just a little apartment, basically. And even then, in 1988, it was $700 a month, and I'm like,
yeah,
Dude, I could get a 5-bedroom house in Jersey for $700 a month. Not now, obviously. I live in a
California.
closet. Yeah,
California's always had premium prices. Well, as
yeah.
long as California's been California, right, and the place to go. So
And my friend Dory, she's since passed away, unfortunately, but her dad was really good friends with the sheriff, and he talked to the sheriff about getting me a job, and I mean, because that was my goal back then. It would have been cool, but I remember fast forward a couple of years being on the sheriff's department when the Rodney King thing happened, and we were just like, you couldn't pay me enough to be in California right now. No, 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 no. So did you go to high school in Southern California where you grew up, the town?
I was homeschooled
Okay.
from first grade. I was molested in kindergarten,
Oh
and so my
no,
parents. Don't be sorry.
I'm
We'll
not.
get
I'm
into
just said,
that.
oh no. I just said, oh no. That's all.
It ends up everything we go through, every trauma, every pain, every experience that is quote unquote, traumatic. Um, it's only traumatic as long as you don't allow yourself to go back into it and fully process everything, and then you can see the full thing, the totality of what you were meant to experience, learn, and then give you the ability to see going forward.
Sure.
Um, so yes, it was a huge sticking point for a very long time, but now it's given me even deeper understanding in my practice. So, but yeah, so first grade to eighth grade, I was homeschooled. So I was very socially awkward. And then when I was going into eighth grade, I was like, Mom, Dad, I don't have one friend, right? Like I have one friend and then the little homeschool group that we have. And so they didn't want me to go straight into high school because it was like, you don't really have social skills that well. So they put me in eighth grade. They held me back despite my intellect being like I was, I voracious reader. I taught myself science. My parents taught me in the homeschool group math and English. And so I went into school from eighth until 11th grade. And then in
Right.
11th grade, I realized like, what am I doing here? When there was a teacher and he was like asking all these questions, and I was just reading my novel because I always did my homework and got it done early. And he called on me, and I answered like the question with like all this backup about the Civil War and all that. And he's like, "How did Ariel know this? And she's not even paying attention. And all of you I've asked you." And I was like, "All right, it's time to go out." So I left public school again, and I started early at college and went to a charter school to finish up my GED.
Mm-hmm.
But then I fell into an eating disorder, and that was a whole other thing. So
Is that what led you into? You said you worked at Gold's Gym. Is that you led you into being into fitness?
so I was obese. Then I developed anorexia nervosa. I admitted myself to a treatment facility for a few months. When I checked myself out, I changed my focus in college, and I actually started working at 24-hour fitness. I got a sales job there, and I gained about 30 pounds healthily through weightlifting. And I recovered just through nutrition contact in College of the Canyons. My parents were going through a separation. I moved out. I was at Gold. I was the number one sales in the region for like 8 months running at 24-hour fitness. But I was like, the whole reason I got that job in the first place was to stepping stone to being a trainer.
Sure.
And they kept saying, "Hey, we're going to promote you. We're going to promote you." And they didn't. And they're like, "Okay, now train a person." So I train a person, and they still don't. I was like, you know what? I'm out. So I went to Gold's Gym. I applied and I got the trainer position, and then I was there for 8 years. So
Cool. Okay.
I became one of their master elite trainers. So I was the highest paid within the company. I got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. I went back and got a master's degree in nutrition, went back for some psych background later on, but I tapped out there as far as income threshold. It's still like $45,000 a year in, California. That's like, you're barely able to pay
You're living
everything.
above your parents' garage. Yeah.
Well, and I was on my own. I'd been on my own since I was
Right.
17. So,
Right.
and
Right.
I to make that work, I had crazy roommate situations. I got a place. I rented a condo, but I didn't have a car till I was 27. I just rode my bike everywhere because I'd rather have my peace and sanity and not crazy roommates screaming and yelling and going insane, and have my house.
Were you living in LA?
Santa Clarita, yeah, outside LA, 45 minutes.
I watched the show The Santa Clarita Diet, but that's
That was filmed down the street from me. I met Drew Barrymore. They film a lot
we
of stuff out there.
we love that show. I was like, why did they end it? But anyway, but yeah, I guess so. You could ride your bike everywhere because it's an urban environment.
Yeah, I mean, everything was within 5 miles or so, and then you could take the
Right.
bus and all that. But it was just survival. That's all it was, you know. And,
Yeah.
and granted, better than most people are surviving, 100%. But the pandemic, I went from surviving to living and thriving, and that's what I do with people now.
So you tapped a little bit into psychology in college. Did
Mm-hmm.
that like open your mind up and go, wow, this is what I really want to do?
Actually, I mean, I always have been the sort of person who likes to get to what is underneath that, right? Like, what's the reason behind that, and what's the reason behind that, and what's the foundation behind that? Now we're going to start getting to like the foundations of reality, right? Reality is non-locally real and all that stuff. But so I went through so many different experiences in my early 20s that I didn't have the bandwidth for that. It was until 2020 when I faced my second suicidal ideation, when we were all shut down and labeled as non-essential, that I realized, hey, you got to face that trauma from, the death, the murder, the watching half of your family die in your 20s, or you're going to kill yourself or subsist off the government. And I've never been the type to take handouts. So I faced my stuff, found my business coaches, and my mentor at that time. My mentor changed my life. After 10 years of failed therapy and traditional talk therapy, they're like, you're remarkably self-aware. I'm like, cool, help me, right? They didn't have the tools. And then I found out why they didn't have the tools later on. We'll get into why talk therapy takes forever and all that, probably organically. But my mentor changed my life. I faced my shit. I took ownership. And then I shifted from the health and wellness field into more of the behavioral aspect, because my biggest pet peeve when I was at Gold's was, let's keep these clients codependent upon us. Let's keep them signing up on packages after package after package. Little known fact, the gym dues that people pay barely cover overhead for rent. The training that gyms sell makes them profitable. So that was their biggest pusher. And I was a master elite. People came to me and I was the girl who got shit done, right? Like competition, LAPD, veterans, those were the people that were typically sent with me. But I was like, I don't like this. It's a codependent system. I'm not actually helping anyone. I'm just a fucking rep. Like, I'm holding them accountable, but they can't hold themselves accountable because their values and beliefs are outside of themselves. They put others before them. They don't actually value their health. And why is that? So when I healed my own stuff and I realigned all the values and belief systems and started to realize what was really going on, I was like, I need to change this. I want my clients to work with me for 3 to 9 months tops and never need me or anyone again for this stuff. Like, they can self-assess, they can self-diagnose, they can take care of themselves and create autonomy within their lives and sovereignty.
Oh, they found me. I hear them. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and I can understand that, because that's why you were a great salesperson, because you understand the psychology of sales and people. You know how to read people. That's what I do for a living. And it's funny. And I normally, like I said earlier, I don't dive too deep into my private personal stuff. But 20 years ago, when I was going through my first divorce, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, anyway, whatever it was, I decided myself to go sit down with a counselor, because I wanted to make sure what was wrong with me. What did I do wrong? Because divorce was an absolute no-no. I don't give up. I'm fighting tooth and nail for everything. And that's probably why I do well at sales, because I'm like a pit bull. Once I get a hold of it, I'm not letting go. And so I went to counseling. And you could have fun with this, and this would be something off show we can talk about later on. No. I have a super, and I don't say this out of pride or anything, but I have a very high IQ. I don't consider myself smart, but I am very, I grew up, I was attention deficit. I had ADHD and hyperactive and all this other stuff. And the problem was I would vent and let out and lash out because that wasn't challenged. If I had been when I'm challenged, then I'm like super hyper focused, and like, that's when things happen. I get great grades. Like when I went to college for broadcasting, and when I went to school for podcasting and everything else, 4.0 across the board, because it was something I loved and I was super excited about it.
I'm not gonna hyperanalyze, but do you know why that is?
Not yet, but let me.
Okay.
So, but I was doing this, and so I went to this counselor, and I hate to say this, but I know how to manipulate very, very well.
Oh,
It's a
same.
sales
Yeah,
technique.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't do it for bad. I don't do it for good. I just don't manipulate. I don't like to
Mhm.
do it, but I know how to do it very well. Because as a child, my mom told me I'd been negotiating since I was born. So they did this personality assessment test on me, the P something 13. I don't know what it was. And I said, I want 2 of them. And she said, 2? Why? I go, I'm going to show you what I can do. She's like,
Mhm.
no, you can't trick the test. I said, oh, nay.
You can.
I said, I will do it as me, and then I will do it as what you think I should do it as. And it blew their minds. They actually brought in other counselors to like talk to me and listen and find. They were like so wowed that I was like, I don't understand why this is so hard to do. But allegedly, people don't. I guess they don't try it or whatever. I'm like, this is so. I said it was actually fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a good time doing it.
So
But she said,
personalities are not static. Personalities are identities and how your
right.
values and beliefs align. So if you have awarenesses to that, it's very easy to be able to manipulate tests.
Or if you have multiple person, I'm just kidding. I don't have multiple. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Maybe you do.
Maybe. I mean, there could be a couple guys inside. No, but the scary thing was, and I won't say which test was which, but one of the tests came back as a result where I have such a driven, strong personality. I am equated to like a Hitler or a gang leader. Like I am. And they're like, how many times have you been arrested? I go, for what? They're like, for violence. I'm like, I've never been arrested for violence. I mean, once when I was a kid I got in a fight on the boardwalk and everybody got arrested, but whatever. I said, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you're very prone to. I said, I'm not. I said, I could be, but I know how to control it.
Correct. So your thought patterns are there, but you don't act upon it. And because you don't
All right.
act upon it, it's not reality.
Could I punch somebody in the throat? Every day I want to, but do I? No.
Mm-hmm.